don't think we'll have a huge crowd, but we have some. Oh, we have some people online already. Dobry večer. My name is Ihor Michalchishin. I'm the UCC's executive director here in Ottawa. With me tonight are Alex and Maria, who are going to talk to you a little bit about what it is like to be an intern. Great. I see that we have people joining us already. We're recording this, so we'll put it on our YouTube channel and other channels tomorrow, so that people can rewatch or share with friends who haven't had the opportunity to be with us tonight. But basically, we want to take a little bit of time tonight to tell you, as potential applicants or potential interns, about the program. You'll hear from Alex and Maria right away in terms of their experience. And let me just go through sort of the very basic presentation of sort of what it is before we get into Q&A. So again, the Ukrainian Canadian Congress and the Ukrainian Canadian Congress Charitable and Educational Trust run the Parliamentary Internship Program. This is our, I think, 8th year that we've been running the program. Usually it is a 10-month intern program, which is a paid work experience program on Parliament Hill, working with MPs. We'll talk about the timing a little bit later, but the timing can be flexible depending on people's availability. And of course, we always encourage people to find an interesting job and leave the program early if that suits their needs. So basically, our interns, we're looking for recent graduates, people who are able to work in Canada, demonstrated interest in politics, or an interest in learning more about politics. We're certainly not looking for experts, or we're not looking for only people in political studies or political science. And I think, as you'll see with our alumni, people come from a variety of backgrounds. I think you'll hear again that you do need to work in this environment to succeed. Critical thinking skills, communication skills, as well as some indication to us of your interest in community involvement, because it's a community-run program. We do have a whole internship application package on the website, which I'll pop up after our interns give their presentation, including some video testimonials from some of our other previous interns. And on our website, you could read about for years, the 8 or 9 years of interns that we've had, and each of their experiences. The most common question is sort of how are interns placed, but I will leave that as a secret until after our presentations. So I'm going to turn it over to Maria Ovcharenko, who's here in Ottawa as well. Maria, so I'm going to give you a few minutes just to tell our potential applicants, potential interns, about what it was like to be an intern, what they should expect, and maybe a little bit about any kind of tips about applying, or any kind of insider information you can share. Over to you.
Sure, Jeffrey. Apologies for any background noise. I have a Pesach who is chewing on a bone right now, but hopefully that doesn't come through too much. Yeah, I'm the most recent internship alumna. My internship was from September to December of last year, and I was in the office of Shuvaloy Majumdar, the MP for Calgary Heritage. Any kind of tips, tricks I have for the application process is to just be yourself as much as you can, and convey as much information as you possibly can. We want to know, everything from your community involvement to why you're interested in politics, and why you're interested in this as a possible career path. Although, as Ihor mentioned, you don't necessarily have to want to have a position on the Hill, but anything that gets you involved with politics will definitely lead to your success. My particular background is in political science. I graduated from the University of Alberta last year in 2023 with a, as I said, degree in political science. And I was able to apply a lot of my, skills and like critical analytical thinking and writing skills in the internship itself. But if you're not studying political science, but you still have those skills and you want to, and you are interested in politics and just democracy and the way that our government works, this is a really perfect opportunity for you, and I definitely would encourage you to apply. Something that I want to convey is, don't be too intimidated by the process itself. It's not, it's very accessible. It might seem a little bit overwhelming, but I would encourage you to, try to get over that fear as much as you can. Really, put yourself out there, and you get out of it as much as you put into it. That was a lot of the advice that I got from previous interns as well, is what you how much effort you put into it, the questions you ask, just being vulnerable in those kinds of ways as well will really lead to your success. I don't know. I don't really know what else I can say before. And not get into too many details, but some of the work I did was everything from coordinating the schedule, helping with legislative policy and question period. We did some communications work with our communications advisor. I mentioned scheduling, did some research for the committees and correspondence with constituencies. So you kind of get a taste of everything. If you have one particular area that you're more interested in, I'm sure that most MP offices would be happy to accommodate that as well. They really appreciate the program and what it does for them, because it helps tie them with the Ukrainian community. It helps them learn more about what the UCC does. And they're also really invested in you as an intern. Like the member that I worked for and the office itself, and my colleagues that I worked with are all very invested in my success, continued political success in Ottawa. I'm in frequent contact with them, and yeah, so the networking opportunities that you get are very vast. And it's just a really great way to catapult yourself into a career that you might desire. I come from Alberta, so I didn't think that I would have much of a chance being all the way, so far removed from federal politics, but this kind of internship is an opportunity that will, take into consideration everybody's experiences and their what they have to offer. It's about 4
Okay,
minutes.
exactly. Really well said. And as Maria said, so everybody who's an intern with our program is placed in the office of an MP. So you're working as part of their team in Ottawa. We survived COVID and we did remote work, but we're back. And so we do want people here in Ottawa physically, because that's sometimes a question. So we do help people move here, help find accommodation. It is really critical to be here, and I think to benefit fully from the program is to be in Ottawa. There's lots of events during the day, but also in the evening, and other kind of things people can get involved in. It's a internship in politics and policy, but not a political internship. So we don't work for the political parties. There are other kinds of internships that the political party, the Liberal Party, Conservative Party, etc., run directly, that are more about the election campaign and candidates and the political process on that side. We're working in the parliamentary process, so our interns work with MPs in their functions in the Parliament. As Maria said, lots of different duties. So I'm going to turn it over to Alex Kostenko, and I forgot to say at the beginning, if you have, we have quite a few people on the line. If you have questions, we have a Q&A function at the bottom. So we'd love to hear your question. There are no dumb questions, no bad questions. You feel free to write in the question. I think you can do an anonymous question, and the three of us will take a look at it and see if we can answer the question. Anything you've heard thus far, anything you wanted to ask from the beginning, or certainly after Alex's presentation and my revealing the secret of how interns are placed with their MPs, we're very happy. We're here to answer questions. So please feel free to write them in. So Alex, I'll turn it over to you just to talk about your experience as an intern.
Дякую, Igor. I was one of the interns from late 2020 to early to mid 2021, so very much middle of COVID. I had started the internship a few months after completing a degree in the hard sciences. So further to Maria's point, it's not an end all requirement to come from like a political science or a political background. The UCC does a very thorough job of onboarding you, making sure you're well prepared to fill in whatever blanks of knowledge you feel you have, as long as you have an interest. And those, like I said, core critical thinking, problem solving, communications skills, or an interest to develop them, that's really the key point. Furthermore, to echo, you really will have a pick of what you want to do in an office, whether that's more party work, whether that's more legislative work, whether that's constituent work. Maybe you have no interest in capital P politics, but are really interested in the down to earth, like road repair or helping average constituents. There is plenty of opportunity for that. where there's an interest, they will put you to work. Don't worry about that. Furthermore, what I really think is unique about this particular cadre is we're heading into a federal election next year. So it is very likely that whatever intern will be placed through this program will, if not be there when an election has happened, will have very, very fresh contacts by the time the election is called. And as with any election, debate sharpens. People's attentions are focused both in the political system and in general. So you're going to have a very unique opportunity to represent the Hromada and represent Ukraine in politics, basically, when that election will be called. So it's going to be a great opportunity in that front.
Okay, дуже дякую. So Alex and Maria are going to stick with us a few more minutes to see if there are any questions that they can answer. Maybe I'll think of some questions as well if our audience is a bit nervous. But basically, I wanted to again reiterate the key points of the program. So we are looking for people who have graduated. And I know that's been a question in the past that some people have looked at this while they're in the middle of post-secondary studies. So we do look for people who are able to, who have graduated and are able to, work full time, and then potentially, given the connections they make and the interest they have, work after this program. So it's not a semester, it's not a kind of midway through your studies kind of a program. Unfortunately, there are other opportunities like that, but this is not how our program works. There's a lot of question about who can apply. So you have to, it's a work program, so you have to have a work permit. So we do have lots of people from Ukraine who have a QIT visa, and that's fine. You have to have a work permit. We can't sponsor people from overseas. It isn't an international student type program. So that's just kind of the way that our program operates. Again, many different kinds of opportunities depending if you are an international student or coming from overseas. We're happy to kind of connect you to those. Again, as Alex and Maria were saying, you don't have to be in politics. You don't have to be, you don't have to know everything about politics, but you have to show to us to be selected that you're interested in public affairs, that you have some interest maybe in specific issues or in broad issues, that you're very willing to learn, that you're eager. Obviously, we're not looking for people who don't have any interest in working in Parliament or have, don't see the value of it in any way. So it's not an expertise we're looking for as sort of much as interest and people who are looking to build under their knowledge. We mentioned we are looking for people who have some experience in the community that are coming to us with good references, who can, sort of say, yes, this person, works hard, this person will learn, this person will take it, will take this opportunity well, in their next step in their professional life, and strong communication in English and in French, ideally. I know that some of our interns have come in bilingual. Most are working in English, and so we obviously will only put somebody in somewhere where they're strongest. But that is really a strong written and oral communications in terms of the kind of work you do. We do ask for an academic transcript. It's not an academic program, but our academic transcript is required so that we have a sense of the kind of background you're coming from. We have a sense of the kind of success you've had or struggles you've had academically, and it is a higher threshold in terms of the kind of program that we're offering, as opposed to some of the other internships, which might not require that. So again, I know we have a couple of questions here we'll get to, but if you have any other questions that you didn't think of, or if you think of tonight at 4 a.m, our email is internship@ucc.ca, and that's where you can send a note that will get to me, and I'll always talk to our alumni in terms of their direct experience. So I see we have 3 questions. Okay. A couple of anonymous, okay. So let's start from the last question first. Will this program be organized next year, 2025? So the answer is yes. So our internship starts every September. So we're right now looking for an intern to start for September of 2024, and the application deadline, I'm assuming you might know it if you're here, but it's May 26th at midnight. So our intent is always to have an intern in the fall, in September of whatever year it is. As Alex said, there's an election coming that might be in the fall of that year. So we have to be nimble and adaptable. So I can't guarantee it, but we have thought about other scenarios, for example, putting people with senators, or in other kind of options. So right now, our plan is to have an intern for fall 2025, but again, that may change. But if you're here tonight and you're not able to apply now, but thinking about the future, we definitely encourage you to think about it. What we did that year of the election actually is we started in January. The election was sort of in October, November, a new government formed, and then the Parliament kind of came back end of January. So that's when our internship started. I'm going to go to, oh, okay. I'm going to go to the first question now. If I'm from another province, how does UCC help with accommodation and travel for the internship period? So I'm going to say, and I think I don't recall exactly with Maria and Alex, but I think I know we do cover moving costs to help people get to Ottawa. So we do require you to be here for the time of the internship. MPs do work sometimes remotely, mostly in person now, but we do want you here in Ottawa physically. With accommodation, Ottawa is the kind of city that has a lot of student housing, a lot of shared housing. So we've always helped, we don't rent the housing for you, but we do help people find some resources in the Ukrainian community and beyond in terms of the kind of accommodation that they're looking for. So we're open to that. Oh, lots of questions now. Alex or Maria, do you want to take any of these questions?
Sure. I'll take this one. Good evening. I graduate from a master's program this summer and available starting September. Yeah, so the application, the internship is for recent graduates at the point of the internship start. So if you are available and you will have graduated by the September start date or the January start date, then yes, absolutely apply. You're eligible.
Yep. I'll just talk there's a question about transcripts. So we do, this person is asking if they can mail their transcripts and have them returned. So we definitely, I mean, various universities and post-secondary institutions offer e-transcripts or mail transcripts. We've gotten scans of things from Ukraine, so we're very flexible. We do want to see something in some form, depending on how your institution offers it. I think, a majority of institutions that I've seen offer sort of a password-protected electronic version, or something that you go into the office and order and you mail to our office. So we're happy to do that. I've never had to mail transcripts back to anybody, but I'm sure we can do that if necessary.
I can take the
Sure.
summer internship. Is applying and landing summer internship with UCC beneficial for the parliamentary internship? I would say that any and all demonstration of activity within the Ukrainian Canadian community is beneficial, whether that is volunteering with a local Ukrainian church or with a summer camp, or in this case, summer internship. So demonstration of activity within the community and obviously connections and knowledge of the Ukrainian language are all beneficial on your application.
Yeah, I think that person might be also referring about our Canada Summer Jobs position. So we have a couple of Canada Summer Jobs positions. Never had the same person do the Canada Summer Jobs and be an intern, but it's in theory possible. So our application for Canada Summer Jobs, we only have 8 weeks of a grant for that, so that would wrap up well before September. So if you're interested in both, I guess put your application in, and we'll get to know you really well. In terms of what references are preferred, I mean, in the form, again, I don't know how much everybody on this chat's gone into the form, but let me just kind of go there. The form is very specific. There's an online form that asks kind of very specific things. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but there will be a place to add community references, and there will be a place to add academic references. So we do want people who, who can speak to your recent work as opposed to sort of 5 to 10 years ago. Somebody where you volunteered recently, somewhere you've worked recently. And then I don't think that we ask for specific professors, but for some people between their work and their academic work and their work, they're getting some grants or something. So that could be something that they put in as a reference. Okay, last question. We see somebody's interested in politics. They have a full-time job. Are there other opportunities to join and volunteer? There are always many opportunities to help. So, I mean, the Ukrainian Canadian Congress is fundamentally a volunteer-based organization. I don't know, this is an anonymous question, so I don't know where you are geographically, but in terms of your local community, I would bet there's probably a UCC branch somewhere locally or a Ukrainian festival somewhere locally. We do meet with MPs on a volunteer basis locally. We do a lot of community work, organizing rallies and doing advocacy locally. And so I think there's more than enough opportunity for somebody who wishes to get involved. And certainly, if you don't know who to reach out to, send us a note, send me a note at this internship email, and we're happy to kind of direct you to your local community. So that's never a problem. Alex, I know you've done a lot of kind of political community work. Any other feedback on that?
Yeah, that's you hit the nail on the head in terms of the Ukrainian community. But if you want to get involved politically, just find a party that you like and reach out to your local EDA or your local councillor or your local MP and ask them what they can do. Even outside of election cycles, there's canvas campaigns, there's by-elections that you can get involved in just to get a sense of whether or not politics is something you're interested in, because there's really no substitute for experience.
Very good. And you have more than 3 references? I don't I don't have the form in front of me. I mean, we're trying to get your 3 best references. We do get a lot of applications. It takes us a lot of time, to go through. It's a multi-page form. So I would say try to hone it down to your 3 strongest references as opposed to like 10, general references. Give us the 3 people who you think can talk to us about you the best, the most recently, and in the context of sort of working in an office. In terms of who can apply, some questions here. So Ukrainian residents, Canadian residents. So I would say you have to be legally authorized to work in Canada. So that means you could have a Kiewit visa that gives you a work permit. You have to have a work permit. We don't issue work permits. We don't apply for work permits to the programs. You have to have the ability to work. Whether that means you're Ukrainian citizen, Canadian citizen, other citizen, that's kind of not exactly connected. And you have to physically be there. So it's not something we can do online. So there is another question here. Students. I mean, this is not, if you are a student now, so we want recent graduates. So somebody that has completed post-secondary studies. So from this question, I'm not sure if you're kind of graduated and still doing studies. It's not a great program to be doing while you're doing something else major, because you're spending a lot of time, a lot of hours working with your MP. So it's not that you can kind of leave every day at 4:30 and go do online studies or go do some kind of other master's program. It's really, needs your full time and attention. So again, happy to talk through the specifics of what the situation might be, but generally, I mean, we are looking for recent graduate, somebody who's graduated already, as Maria said, but also is, who's looking to develop their career in the next step.
I can take Andri's question here, because this is something I also struggled with in terms of what to put in your application. And the question is, are academic and community references valued the same? Try to have a list of references that presents a balanced picture of yourself. Maybe you're a terrific student, but you're also a good community organizer. It would, I think, be better for us to know about both sides of you, as opposed to getting an email from your biology professor, your science professor, and your history professor. Because typically, if someone's a really good student in one, they tend to be a good student in another. So think holistically in terms of what is going to be important for us based on the criteria that Iho has outlined.
Yeah, and maybe I'll just mention here. So actually, Maria, maybe how does the process work once you apply and the interviews? You want to just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So you'll finish your application form, and for those who haven't started yet, I would encourage you to start earlier rather than later, because while it's not a difficult form, it is a rather long one. So you want to give yourself enough time just so you're not stressing at the very end. That being said, after you're finished, then you'll hopefully be invited for an interview, and the panel will consist of Ihor, a few people from the UCC National Trust who sponsor the internship program, and a few previous interns. So I think that I will be, as the most recent one, I'll be on the interview panel, and then we will decide who else will be. But so then you'll have an interview, then your references will be checked, and then we'll let you know. And I think this will all be done within I think 3 weeks, after 2 to 3 weeks
Yeah,
after.
within a month, definitely. We want to let people know by the end of June sort of what their prospects are. So we appreciate the effort people put into their application, and then we put a lot of time into reviewing them quickly to get to know each candidate. We have a committee that sort of ranks and decides who the strongest applicants are, and then sort of makes that decision. Okay, and did he ask? He's correct. How do we assign MPs and interns? So there is no magic secret to that one, as I was alluding to. I mean, basically, we meet our applicants, we meet our strongest applicants, we learn what their interests are in terms of issues and personality and all of those kind of dynamics. We then, I mean, we've worked with MPs from 3 different parties, from the NDP, Liberal, and Conservative caucus. So we do reach out to MPs to see who has, interest and room. We look at MPs that are working on interesting things like Ukraine, like foreign affairs, like different kinds of issues, different committees that they're involved in. So we try to pick MPs that we know well, that will keep our interns busy, treat them well, fit into the teams that they have there. So basically, we look to you to tell us kind of what are you, that's some of the interview questions. What are you interested in? What kind of issues are you interested in? And what kind of skills do you have? And then that based on that and the final application, we go and sort of shop around for an MP. And we do have usually a kind of a getting to know you interview or conversation between the intern and potential placements, just to make sure that there's a good fit. That everybody kind of knows each other and feels like they're heading into it in an open manner. So I see a couple more questions. Are there any internship volunteer opportunities for people in their current post-secondary studies? So we have the Youth Ambassador Program, which we are just in the middle of launching. We have, I think, over 80 applications that come for that for this year. So if you haven't applied yet, unfortunately, it's closed for now. It's not a post-secondary program. It's more of a community volunteer leadership program. Alex or Maria, are you aware of any kind of other post-secondary type programs? I have to admit I don't know, but if you send us a note, Oya, maybe we can think of a couple. I mean, I'm still see kind of emails crossing my desk from the Canadian Institute of Ukrainian Studies or other, U of Ottawa stuff. There are many kinds of, if you go to your department bulletin board or talk to the department chair, there are different kinds of internships that are sometimes shorter or longer that might be in Ottawa. And then last question from Bohdan Kozak, approximate dates for the interview. I mean, we're hoping to, I would say mid second, third week of June, we're hoping to do the interviews. And that just depends on how many applicants we get, how long it takes to read through everything, and how quickly we can kind of schedule it. We hope to have one intern, selected at the end of this process. It is a paid position, so we are hoping to pay somebody from September to June on sort of a 10-month program. Of course, if some donor comes and gives us $1 million, we'll find 2 or 3 interns. But right now, our plan is to have one intern. That's what we can kind of manage and what we usually do. We have had 2 interns at a time when we have a shorter time placement. So all very good questions. Maria or Alex, has anything kind of twigged for you that we haven't covered or anything that we haven't had asked yet? Okay. I think that's it. I'm going to go to, we had our team do a lovely video with Daria from last year, so I don't want to let the opportunity pass to not watch the video. So let me share sound, optimize video clip. Let me just click on this for everybody. So this is Daria, who was our intern prior to Maria, and I'm going to just put it on full screen so we can hear the interview with her.
I got inspired to participate in the UCC program because I'm interested in politics. I got very interested in how Canadian Parliament works. I wanted to complement my knowledge that I got at the Monk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy, that theoretical knowledge with the practical knowledge during this internship. And I see that this is exactly what I was looking for. I'm learning a lot from the fast-paced environment. You often have to do a lot of things at the same time and think ahead and think forward. And I think it is a great opportunity to develop your transferable skills, such as communication, work in the fast-paced environment, and teamwork. My participation in the UCC program made me a lot more confident applying for jobs that are related to the parliament work and to the public service, because I feel like I have gained a lot of practical knowledge, which is very important. I also have met a lot of other assistants whose work I could witness, and now I feel like there are both great networks and connections, and the experience and knowledge that I can transfer to my next step. To the current applicants, I would give an advice of researching what exactly you're interested in, because members of parliament don't only do work in their communities, but they represent different aspects of important federal work, such as environmental issues, finance issues, NATO and international development work. So you can research what different MPs do and work with the UCC to get matched with an MP that does the work that interests you.
Okay, so I just wanted to, our team produced that lovely video last year, and I know Maria, you were in the office recording a video last week, right? So we'll have another lovely video like that. So that's Daria, and Daria, her next step, unbeknownst to her then, she now works for Global Affairs Canada, and I think very directly kind of applying the things that she's learned both in school and in this internship. So again, I wanted to thank Alex and Maria for joining us. Thanks to all of our guests. Great to see so many people interested with really good questions. Again, we're open to other scenarios, other questions. I always just say, apply, and we'll be in touch with people. We don't want to discourage anybody in any way, and we can't necessarily answer all the potential scenarios, but we do definitely want to see a lot of people apply, and we'll talk to people after their applications are in. Again, May 26th at midnight. We hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.